Manuel Lopez. Bernabe Concepcion against Mario Santiago could be a main event on most cards. It's an intriguing first bout. So let's get started now and go ringside to Stephen L. for the setup story.
All right, we're going to start off by taking a look at the tail of the tape. It delineates the age difference, the fact that Santiago, who will want to fight on the outside to some degree against the charging Concepcion, has the height and the reach advantage.
And we're going to take a look at the rules here. It's the unified rules. No standing 8, no 3 knockdown. You can't be saved by the bell in the final round or any other round. Only the referee can stop the fight. And the accidental foul rule, 4th round. After that, we go to the cards. Interesting replay rule in effect. And Nick?
Look at Mario Santiago now from Ponce, Puerto Rico. He's 31 years old. Be facing the much younger 22-year-old Bernabe Concepcion of the Philippines. So that's the layout right now. We're underway, just about to be underway. And for the official fighter introductions, let's go now to ring announcer Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Las Vegas Hilton here in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, where tonight Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing and ABS-CBN in association with the Las Vegas Hilton are proud to present Latin Fury 13 with Pinoy Power 3, sponsored by Tecate Cerveza con Carácter and the event. Pacquiao versus Claudy live on pay-per-view Saturday, March 13th from Cowboys Stadium, Dallas, Texas. All bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The 3 judges assigned to ringside for this first bout, Ricardo Ocasio, Jerry Roth, and Glenn Trowbridge. And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action, Kenny Bayless. And now, 10 rounds of boxing. This is in the featherweight division. The winner of this contest will be fighting for the world title against the undefeated champion, Juan Manuel "Juanma" Lopez. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Official weight, 126 pounds. He's wearing white, red, and blue. His professional record, 21 victories, including 14 knockouts. Only 1 defeat with 1 bout even. From Ponce, Puerto Rico, ladies and gentlemen, Mario El Príncipe de Ponce Santiago. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, also weighing in officially at 126 pounds. He's wearing pink with silver. His professional record, 29 victories, including 17 knockouts, only 2 defeats, 1 bout even. From Catanduanes, Philippines, Bernabe, the real deal, Concepcion.
Ring center. Ring center. Okay, fellas. Trunks are okay on both sides. If punches land on the lower half, I'm going to consider it a low blow. Understand? Same thing on this side. Now, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want this fight to stay clean at all times. I want you to protect yourself at all times. And what I say, you obey. Good luck. Touch them up. Good.
Bernabe Concepcion. Santiago there said, I did not look good. He was forced to rally to win a split decision in his last fight. And at age 31, guys, he can't afford to blow it tonight.
Indeed, and the stakes couldn't be higher here. Both guys coming off what they consider disappointing performances, and this is basically an eliminator for a shot at the title.
Concepcion is a very strong guy, more of an aggressive counter-puncher, and Santiago more the boxer, but definitely an aggressive southpaw. And very good hand speed. Here's Concepcion, hands up. They want him to get busier and be the busier guy tonight. And we see him in the pink try to get on track against the lefty. We'll see if he shoots that all-important but often neglected jab against the southpaw.
And, you know, Concepcion just has not fought as well as they would like in recent fights. He's only a 22-year-old, but he hasn't employed his style. You know, his mission is to get on the inside, as you said, Nick, work the body, work the head. He's not fighting like that, and that's what's troublesome to them.
Yeah, you know, and he seems to lose focus at times. He'll drift, he'll lay on the ropes when he should be more aggressive. So at 22, he's got a lot of rounds, but they want to see improvement fast. And as Steve said, look what's on the line. You win, and you're fighting Wanma in June.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly.
How hard is that not to get ahead of yourself, as we see the southpaw Santiago really trying to dictate range here. Absolutely trying to keep Concepcion at the end of his jab and use that reach advantage, and he's doing a pretty good job, I should say, with the jab to do that.
And, you know, this fight is already looking a lot like the Steven Luevano fight against Concepcion on another Pinoy power, when Luevano was able to keep him at bay at long distance, and ultimately Concepcion got disqualified for hitting after the bell. But it was this kind of effort where Concepcion just couldn't figure out how to get on the inside against him.
And, you know, he's a great barometer, Luevano. And here we see Concepcion inside because they both fought him and both had their moments. In fact, Santiago got what he called a disappointing draw.
Yeah, Santiago fought well against Luevano and really thought he won the fight. It was a title shot. Concepcion never quite could get his game going against Luevano.
Interesting that Santiago dragged Luevano into a brawl and Concepcion did not, but Santiago showing a lot of discipline here, trying to box like Luevano would box, and he is his fellow southpaw like Luevano.
Well, he said he's got to be careful. He's really got to focus on a very strong, dangerous guy in front of him, and he's doing that. And Concepcion, again, seems reluctant. He wants to counterpunch. He's aggressive, but he's that rare bird that would counterpunch and be really aggressive. So he's inside there trying to sink a shot to the body, and Santiago continues to turn him and move to his left. Winding down the first round, Concepcion, good power in both hands. We haven't seen it yet. It's a very cautious, typically the feeling out round type of round as we close out the first here in Las Vegas. To steal the round, it would seem. The last 10 seconds for the Filipino probably won that round for him as we go to the Philippine interpreter, Creme Encarnacion.
Okay, relax lang ha. Relax lang. Relax lang ha. Okay. Okay. Okay, makinig ka. Makinig ka rin.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Makinig ka.
Listen to me.
Siya maghihintay lang sa sayo.
He's waiting for you.
Hinihintay ka lang niya.
He's waiting for you.
Okay? So ang gagawin mo dahil nakakapasok ka sa loob sa
Here's
kanya,
what you do. Since you
igalaw
can
mo
go
yung jab mo.
inside, keep your jab going. Keep your
Kahit
jab
hindi
going.
sumama yung jab mo,
Even
basta
though we
gumalaw
don't
ka,
hear him.
gumalaw.
Just keep
Galaw ulo.
moving. Just keep
Pagalaw,
moving.
titignan mo sa mukha.
Just look at his face and
Tapos
jab.
ba, straight sa katawan,
And
ha?
then straight to the body.
Pressure ka, pressure pa.
Hey, and look who is in the house. The pound for pound king of the world, baddest man on the planet, Manny Pacquiao, the WBO welterweight champion. I can't keep count of the titles anymore, guys.
Oh, I think he's almost in double digits, and he is, of course, one of the co-managers of Bernabe Concepcion, and they have made a nice little offer to Concepcion if he were to win this fight, a little bonus.
Yes.
$10,000.
10 grand for a KO.
I love that.
Is that allowed, guys? Sure it is.
I'm getting 10G if we have a good show today.
That's right.
Extra 10G.
Only 10?
Oh, my. Well, that's a foregone conclusion for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Concepcion's in the pink and silver, and he's trying to come forward. They want him to at least touch Santiago with that left hand, with that jab. At least show him the left. He said he would do it. We haven't seen it really once this fight. Santiago continues to spin into the right hand of Santiago, but he's really done an excellent job. He is controlling distance and pace of this fight.
You made a good point, though, Nick. Even though he is, Santiago's not really landing that many punches, and Concepcion did land about 5 or 6 really good right hands, and that late flurry probably did win him round 1.
Would you say so, guys? Both
I
of you?
thought.
Oh, yeah. I definitely thought Concepcion landed the better shots. I saw very little offense at all from Santiago in the first round. And very little offense now, for that matter.
Good right hand counter from Concepcion. That's what they want more of course, but he's not busy at all. He's having trouble. Al, you alluded to, he just can't find his way inside. And Santiago's an in-and-out guy. He's very busy, but he's not running around by any means. And there, sinks a left hand to the body of Concepcion. Concepcion returns the favor, blasting away, and that right hand could have rocked Santiago, but Santiago's off the ropes, back in the middle of the ring, and he's backing off now as Concepcion has put some firepower together.
Santiago is squaring himself up to Concepcion, and that's why he's getting hit with those right hands by Concepcion. And he wanted to attack in this round, and if you do that against Concepcion, give him a chance.
Two of Concepcion's 3 most recent fights against lefties. That's a positive. And right now, I think it's pretty simple. As is often the case when a lefty fights a righty, it's the lefty's left hand against the righty's right hand. And if Concepcion's moving forward, he's got a lot more oomph on his right hand than Santiago has on his left, who's moving backward or laterally. Santiago's
really stopped boxing. He is not trying to dictate, not trying to get on the jab anymore. He's just trying to read Concepcion, it seems. He's in the white. Now he tries to let his hands go a little bit. So Concepcion, with those bursts of firepower, apparently is going to sweep the second round, too. There's a right hand to the body. He tries and misses to the head, and Santiago again spins and is back in the middle of the ring, and now he gets on the stick and tries to come back with a right-left counter there that lands. So good exchanges here, closing down the second round, and another 2 left hands from Santiago, and he buries the third in. So you look at Mario Santiago. He came on strong that final 30 seconds. Let's listen into his corner and Spanish interpreter Adrian Garcia.
Vamos, Iván. Vamos.
All right, we got to do this. Come on, pick it up. You know what to do. We planned it out. We know what we're doing here. Put your hand in. Be careful with the body blows. Careful with that right to the body. And use that left hook. You need to use that left hook a little more. He's not going to be able to take that left hook if you start working it in there. This is the fight that you have to determine. You have to dictate what we're doing. You know what to do. Come on.
Toward the end of the round, Santiago, who had suffered in that round, pushed Concepcion back and was able to land some meaningful shots against the ropes.
And Nick mentioned at the top that Concepcion sometimes lays against the ropes. You know what? He did that here, and that was the first good offensive moment Santiago had in the fight.
Who'd you give the round to, guys?
Concepcion.
I agree, and he landed 21-5 as an edge in power punches Concepcion did in that round.
Well, CompuBox numbers consolidate that then. Concepcion, the far busier, more effective guys, but Santiago, impressive down the stretch there in the second. They want him to get going. They want him to land that left to the body.
You know, stylistically, if this fight starts to take the shape it did in the last 20 seconds of that round, because Santiago feels the urgency to do it, we could end up with a very exciting fight.
I love this fight on paper. We said at the top, a really good exchange there. It could be a main event. And wow, there's so much at stake here.
Just seems to me Concepcion's right hand is heavier than Santiago's left at this point.
Good observation, Steve. I see that Santiago is trying to line up that left hand behind the jab a little bit, but no success as he goes to the belt line there with the left on the turn. Concepcion a little bit squared up, but he is really waiting to counterpunch. Now he takes the lead and whips a right to the body of Santiago. A lot of these shots being taken on the gloves by both men.
You know, the one fighter whose name we've mentioned a number of times, Stephen Luevino, who of course fought both these men. Santiago can't bring himself to be Stephen Luevino, even though he wants to kind of box and be the lefty. He's just not. Luevino is a total boxer. That's not Santiago, so that's why I think he's going to want to make this more action fight.
It's true. You know, we did a lot of his earlier fights, Santiago, and he always had that tendency to want to brawl. It could be a big mistake, but he's got to get Concepcion's respect.
Yeah. It's a conundrum for him.
It is.
I like Concepcion's foot speed. He's coming in quick. And Manny Pacquiao's criticism of his fighter was an interesting one. He said that Concepcion's hands and feet are not in sync yet. I'd never heard that before about a fighter. It's an interesting observation, but I think tonight they're in sync.
Yeah, I agree, Steve. And I think there's a sharpness to Concepcion's punches that we didn't see, especially in the last fight with Luevino.
So how does Santiago start getting the Philippines' respect?
Well, I think the straight left hand which Santiago landed, as Steve pointed out, landed toward the end of the round. But the problem is when he does that, he gets countered by the right frequently.
Both guys have had a tendency in their careers, and here we see Santiago going to work, of standing around in no man's land and getting countered. We haven't seen much of that lately, but that is a tendency to watch. A low blow. The left hand by Santiago, but Kenny Bayless caught it. Highly biased Filipino crowd here didn't like it. And Concepcion backs off. Exchange, a lot of them taking on the gloves, but good right hands from Concepcion. Concepcion is hot about that low blow.
Hey. Three, you gotta go back.
Breathe. Breathe deeply.
Lagi mong isipin, ha?
Always think.
Lagi mong isipin.
Always think.
Sinasabi ko sa'yo lagi, na wag mong gawin magpunta sa lubid.
Don't go inside the ropes.
Sa'yo, matangkad.
Because he's taller than you.
Pero kung dadalhin mo siya sa gitna ng labanan mo,
if you go in the middle of the ring, you're at an advantage.
Hindi siya sumusuntok pag ginunahan mo.
He doesn't.
Katain mo, pinihok ang straight, ha?
Well, we'll see if Concepcion now gains his composure. He was red hot about that low blow from Santiago. And there, a show of respect as they touch gloves to start the round. We're in the fourth. It's scheduled for 10. This is a featherweight, almost an eliminator, really. But the winner assured a June fight with Juan Manuel Lopez for the featherweight championship.
You know, Buboy Fernandez, the trainer of Concepcion, said, stay off the ropes. What I'm trying to figure out, and I don't know the answer to this yet, was Concepcion backing to the ropes on his own, or was he being driven back? They're very different things.
Very good point. And did he like it because he was able to counterpunch from that posture? So, interesting questions. You know, he was disqualified, was Concepcion, for hitting after the break with Luevino, and he hit after the bell there, pretty far after the bell against Santiago. He has to be careful about that.
Yeah, he claimed he didn't hear the bell or the 10-second warning, but it was pretty clear this time. It was just a reaction to the low blow, but everybody has their composure now. Santiago in the mostly white trunks shows the jab and instead tries the hook off it. There's the double jab and then a left hand. Now Santiago's getting much busier now, and he has to. He's got to make Concepcion think twice about walking in on him. Concepcion's right hand, short one taken on the gloves by Santiago. Santiago's moving well. He's still in front of Concepcion. He's got the reach and the height, but it's not. Oh, right hand by Concepcion to the jaw of Santiago. Santiago moving, grazing the ropes. That sure got his attention as the Puerto Rican is backtracking.
The right hand of Concepcion is a very quick punch, deceptively quick. And he's been able to land it a lot in this match.
It's a real power punch. He's knocked out people, single shot power with it.
Guys, I don't like Santiago boxing off the back foot, using lateral movement. It's just, Al, you said it a couple of rounds ago, basically. It's not him. I don't think he's effective doing it.
Well, and you guys have done a number of his fights. You're very aware of what he does well. Yeah, it's almost like he's adopted a style that doesn't suit him.
He's got to get on the jab, it would seem. Now he's just pawing with it. He's really not stinging it to set up the left. There's a straight left down the middle from Santiago that lands. There's the jab that's landing, and Concepcion is not letting his hands go.
It's imperative that Santiago use that jab from the right distance. He's got a 3.5-inch reach advantage, and he's fighting a counterpuncher, so he has to jab from the right distance.
Well, other than that right hand from Concepcion, it was a good round for Santiago, and he needed it. He needs to get rounds in the bank soon.
All right. Now listen up.
Mario, tienes que tirar más golpes, papi.
You have to throw more punches, Papa. You have to get to him, and you got to work that left to the body. I need to see that more. He's waiting. He's waiting to see what you're going to do. Come on. Dictate. All right, you're waiting way too long. You're waiting way too long. Come on. Close up a little bit when he comes out.
We talked about the right hand from Concepcion. Nice straight one there, gets to the head of Santiago.
And the reason that right hand landed, very evident. Santiago jabbed, dropped his hand, didn't bring it back up high. And that's a counterpuncher's dream when he sees that.
Couldn't agree more with Santiago's corner. This guy is waiting, so why wait? Dictate this fight. Get that jab in his face and get on it now and set up those power shots. Concepcion seems to be a little bit closer there as he sinks a couple of body shots home with that left hook.
The interesting thing about the numbers, Santiago has a 50-47 total advantage in connects, but Concepcion has an advantage 44-16 in terms of power shots. So clearly, other than Santiago's jab, he's not getting the other punches in as well, but still does have an edge in overall punches landed.
With 16 connects and power shots in 4 rounds is really low.
Interesting that Santiago now is working both sides. He's moving a lot more to the right in this round than he was prior. We'll see what it produces, but he stopped punching, and now it's Concepcion and Pink taking the lead as he takes a short combination, not a lot on it, but Santiago at least scoring. Both men don't seem to be busy enough. It's Santiago from Puerto Rico in white, and the Filipino, Bernabe Concepcion, the much younger man, in the pink.
The activity of Santiago demonstrated by that graphic, and that's a big part of it. That right hook was the best one Santiago's thrown in this fight.
And Concepcion was so short with his right hand, he had his chin just hanging there. Bayless telling him to watch their heads. But you're right, Al, that was the best punch for him this fight.
Also some body work by Santiago, and I think that's having an impact on Concepcion.
There you go. They want him to land that left to the body. Concepcion's trying to tear through the defense of Santiago, but now Santiago coming forward, Steve, rather than backtracking this round.
Big change in style. And if Santiago continues to move to the right as he was in the beginning of this round, look for that left hook to the body, which has been underused by Concepcion so far.
And they want him to throw it.
Last minute of this round or so, an important one for Concepcion to try and steal this round back. He had a little flurry in the middle of the round.
There's a 3-punch combination, and then a right on the turn from Concepcion. Just grazed Santiago if it even did make contact, but it's enough to speak to the point that he's the busier guy right now, and a crucial, as you indicated, Al, close round. Concepcion as we complete round 5, and there is the prize. Juan Manuel Lopez, the new WBO featherweight champion of the world and one of the most exciting faces in boxing. And he will face the winner of this fight. And here we go to Prem Encarnacion to translate.
How come you don't want to box? How come you don't want to hit him? What's wrong? What's wrong? How come you're not hitting him? He's right in front of you. Just start hitting him. Give him an uppercut. Move around.
The tempo of that round was controlled by Santiago. There he did the counter punching as Concepcion came in. And the combination punching of Santiago was a big difference in that round.
I agree that Concepcion needs more pressure and more punches.
One of the things that Steve talked about, the distance of Santiago. One of the things he did do in the last round, even though he won that round, was he tended to lean in. And instead of throwing that jab and fighting tall enough for Concepcion to have to reach for him.
We'll see if it happens again. It's Concepcion in pink is the shorter guy, and he's giving away a little reach. And Santiago eats a right hand. He's just not letting his hands fly either. And now he's backing up. He hasn't thrown a meaningful punch this round. And we're 40 seconds into it, and Concepcion's trying to rip his head off with those power shots. But he's been wild. They want him to get more active as well. It's almost as if both guys are taking a round off. It almost looks like the first round of a fight in a feel-out round. Now it's Santiago in the white, red, and blue colors of Puerto Rico. Trying to work off the jab, but not consistent there. He doubles it up, but the power shot didn't come behind it. Concepcion, right hand taken on the gloves by Santiago. And there's a knockdown. Right hand did it.
5, 6, 7, 8. Gloves.
Oh, let's see. There's halfway through this round. Santiago said he's okay, but he ate a big right hand, and Concepcion's going to try to close the show. And here he comes after the Puerto Rican. And now it's clinching from Santiago wisely. He's got to find his composure, his legs, his wits, the whole bit. Concepcion, a big minute left, guys.
Concepcion threw a lot of punches there, but not meaningful punches when he chased Santiago. But there's that sharp right hand again.
Santiago sort of laying in the woods, but this is Concepcion's moment to seize the night here.
Third time in his career that Santiago's been down. Concepcion, on the other hand, never been down.
Is Concepcion aggressive enough, guys?
Well, I think he's picking his shots and landing some good power punches like that one. I'd rather see him do this than throw crazy combinations that won't land.
Even though he's had his man down, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he was aggressive, but then he realized he wasn't landing carefully, and he's landed some pretty good shots after that knockdown.
Santiago seems to be okay, but he is on the receiving end of a huge right hand from Bernabe Concepcion in a 10-8 round. And that is critical as we're closing out the sixth with 4 to go. Santiago is falling dangerously behind, it would seem. Adrian Garcia Marquez will interpret in Santiago's now desperate corner, it would seem. He was knocked down.
All right, I tripped a little bit. Wasn't really knocked down. I tripped, okay? All right, how is it that he's escaping away from it? You got to start working that jab. Use that jab. Be smart with it. Then come with that left to the body. Let me get some water in real quick.
It was a right hand by Concepcion that would put Santiago down, and part of it was balance. He did trip a bit, but he was hit with a significant punch, and as you look at it again, you'll see that straight right hand landed right on the chin and pushed him back.
And after that, it was Concepcion kind of quietly looking for the finish, not rushing, but you could see that Santiago's legs didn't look good there. His legs were a little stiff for the remainder of the round. I don't think he's fully recovered yet.
We'll see. He's got 4 rounds, and he can't just take a round off. He can't afford it. He's deeply behind, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and well, he's behind for sure. I have him down by 3 points, and he could be down by more easily. But now Santiago needs to. He for sure can't be the boxer. He's got to be the boxer-puncher and really go after Concepcion a bit.
He's trying to clear off the fog, shake off the fog, it would seem, Santiago. And again, it is desperation for him. I'm not saying get crazy, but this is a 31-year-old who can't afford a defeat.
Right now, to me, Santiago looks tentative. Concepcion looks much more confident, and the difference in power, when Concepcion throws the right hand, it looks like a hammer, and when Santiago throws his left hand, it looks just like a punch from the shoulder.
and Concepcion, good point, Steve. Very much economy of motion. He's not wasting any punches, as Al had referred to as well, but you wonder, does he have to get busier? He's been more effective in the majority of these rounds, and he's had his man on the floor in the 6th round.
And that number about power connects you just saw speaks volumes. And Steve made the point that Concepcion has never been down. That's a key factor here, because Santiago would like to match that knockdown in the score column, but it's not easy to do against a guy that's never been down.
Well, given that, if it's going to be difficult, he's got to start out boxing him, and he's got to get busy, because Concepcion's giving him possibilities to take the lead. He's waiting a lot. They're looking to counterpunch, and Concepcion off the ropes. Now he'll back off and get his legs under him, and now trying to drive Santiago back with the right hand. Santiago with those single shots, the jab, looking for openings, trying to set up that left hand, it would seem. Right uppercut. Cross hybrid from Concepcion. He tries the right to the head now, and he's just getting Santiago to blink and think twice and throw him off, and there's a counter left hand. Santiago walks in not punching, and he paid the price.
Boy, every once in a while, Concepcion's timing on his counter punches is absolutely perfect. And I see no power whatsoever coming from Santiago. It's not the fighter I'm used to seeing. It's not the fighter who dropped Stephen Luevino in his title fight.
And some of the straight left hands have landed with authority from Santiago, but they haven't been enough.
Concepcion looks like the stronger guy, the harder puncher for sure. And he's winning this fight unofficially on our cards, closing out the 7th. And Mario Santiago's career as a full-fledged top-ranked featherweight is in jeopardy now with 3 rounds to go. And we've got a full fight night of action here in Las Vegas, as you know. What a card it is. This is our first fight, and that he will be our last man in. The pound-for-pound top 10, everybody's top 10. Nonito Donaire takes on late replacement Manuel Vargas in a 12-round super flyweight in our main event here on Top Rank's pay-per-view. It's Nick Charles, Al Bernstein, and Steve Farhood ringside. Our opening fight, and let's listen in. Here's Mario Santiago in the corner. And once again, it's crucial time for him. He has got to get going. And as you said, Al, he needs a 10-8 round at this point.
And, you know, the interesting thing for Concepcion is he's in a position now where he wants to keep up the aggression. If he can put one more round in the bank, he might be able to secure this fight.
He's fought very much under control. At times we thought slightly lethargic or maybe overly cautious. But he's putting Mario Santiago in the white on the floor in the 6th round and seems comfortably ahead, or close to being comfortably ahead, on our scorecards unofficially, of course. Now Santiago, we'll see what he's going to have to do differently. And what do you think, guys? Got to start gambling, huh?
He's got to start digging his feet into the ground and getting something on his left hand. The connects, CompuBox tells us, are equal in this fight, but not the power connects.
And that's why Santiago has won some rounds in this fight. Make no mistake about that. But when you add in the 2-point round, and Concepcion has won his rounds, I think, more decisively than maybe Santiago in some of those close rounds.
Sure made a statement. You're right. Quality shots, we would say. Santiago is really taking his time and not fighting with the kind of urgency. I know he has to be careful, but to me, he's fighting exactly as he did in the first round. And he's got to know he's behind. He's gotten up off the deck.
Concepcion, though, still on the negative side, and I think it's an issue, not as active as they would like to see him, Steve, because his style, even though he does throw counterpunches, depends partially on him being active and throwing a lot of punches.
Well, being an aggressive counterpuncher is a great style, but you have to be aggressive to make the other guy throw punches, so you have something to counter. And he doesn't do that in long stretches. You're right.
Concepcion doesn't want to take the lead. He wants to wait there and hammer home. That big right hand on the left as he did there. Santiago's waiting around too much, and again, he is getting knocked around for it. It's one of the things I always felt he was guilty of. Standing around doing nothing. And he looks like a fighter now who's just not lost hope, but he's running out of answers, guys.
It's almost as if Santiago came into this fight with the mindset of being a boxer, and the jab was everything, and he left his other tools at home.
It's a very good point. And when that style didn't quite work for him, he's had a hard time transitioning into being a little bit more aggressive. You know, we talked about how important it is for Santiago, but at 22, Concepcion's people were talking about this fight like it was really, really important to get him back on track.
Concepcion's grazing the ropes there. He'll turn out. Now it's in the middle of the ring, and half-minute left to go in this 8th of a scheduled 10-round featherweight fight. And Mario Santiago in white needs something big now. Than connects there, but the action got the crowd up. 2 rounds to go. Hey, I know you guys, you know, with the technology, you're on top of it. Steve and Al, you're on the cutting edge, so I know your tweeters there. So
I'm tweeting right now.
I figured that. I hope you're just tweeting.
That's all I'm doing.
And Al's been doing it for years. He's been so ahead of the game.
I've been a top-ranked tweeter for a long, long time.
And here's what people are tweeting about on our Top Rank. Our twitter.com/TopRankBoxing, and we encourage you to keep it up with the tweets. Matt Korobov was on the undercard off TV. He is bad. He looked very good to go to 10-0, the left-hander.
And in that case, bad means good.
Yes.
And of course, boxing very much an internet sport. Well, it's also a sport in the ring where you've got to land some big shots, and that's what Concepcion did there, the right hand and then the left hook. Concepcion throws a lot of wide punches, but he gets away with it most of the time.
All right, Santiago's out. Now he's on the stick with the jab, and Concepcion is at the same distance, waiting to counter off it. He's showing me a better head movement and stuff, and maybe that's part of the reason that even with Santiago tentative in this fight, that Concepcion hasn't been hit as much as we've seen before. They want him to work on defense. His hands are up, and he's moving his head and trying to slip under those shots, and he's gotten around the jab pretty well all night.
Yeah, Mario Santiago, I think, demonstrates how the standards in boxing are maybe somewhat skewed. He's 21-1. His only loss in a championship fight. Yet we're here talking about this like it's a crossroads fight at age 31. And in reality, that's, you know, pretty good. Nice right by Concepcion.
Absolutely, and Concepcion backs off. Inexplicably backs off. It's not as if he had Santiago hurt, but he had him gave him something to think about, and he was inside. It's interesting, when he's inside, he'll flurry and get out again, and not stay inside. No, but Santiago did say it. I mean, this is, you know, the proverbial do or die thing, and he used those very words. He's got to get out at 31.
He's right. It's because it's the way you are judged in boxing to a great extent. It's just a different sport. And a good example is it's different than mixed martial arts, MMA, where you can have more losses.
Good point.
It's not going to affect you. But he's trying to get aggressive, Santiago, but this has been a very tough round for him here in round 9.
You know, it's not that, well, there we are, the right hands from Concepcion, and he'll take a left in return as Santiago gets a little mean now. But Concepcion, for the most part, I've been impressed again with his defense. He's slipped a lot of shots, and there's a right to the body that backs off Santiago and makes him restart again. So he loses 5-10 seconds each time trying to mount any kind of offense, and now he's getting wild with that looping right hook. There's some body work, fairly effective from Santiago, and Concepcion not firing anything back, complaining to Kenny Bayless that he's being hit low.
Why is he on the ropes? No reason, no need.
Those are good kidney shots, and Santiago may have taken this round as a result. Well, there's still a lot left in this round. We'll see. He's got to keep it up. But Concepcion with an unexpected lapse. He seemed to drift there mentally.
think he wanted to get on the ropes, try and counterpunch, and Santiago just attacked very effectively to the body.
Santiago flicking at his nose, his eyes. He just seems to feel he's running out of ways to solve the Filipino. Closing down round 9, 1 to go. This featherweight battle for the right to meet Juan Manuel Lopez in June.
Just keep breathing. Breathe nicely. Okay, breathe. Listen to me. This is the last round. This is a championship. Think of it as a championship round.
Santiago looks like a guy who is ready to run through a wall. He's the first off the stool. It's like somebody gave him a shot of adrenaline suddenly, at least the way his body language is showing, because he knows his career is going to take, not go into free fall, but take a severe blow if he doesn't do something special now. And here he goes on the attack. Where was this for the other rounds?
Concepcion averaging only about 30 punches a round, but he's making them count.
Isn't that amazing for a featherweight, Steve?
And he's landing at a better percentage than Santiago. Santiago's thrown 675 punches, but has landed 4 fewer than Concepcion.
Oh, and look at Santiago starting to lean into these shots. It's dangerous. He is desperate. He's moving forward. Concepcion backing off now, and give it to Santiago. He backed him off with some shots. He's letting his hands go finally. He's not saving anything.
I think some of those lefts, those body punches are straying low. And there is a warning from Bayless.
Santiago's best shots are to the body. They've been all fight.
And that kind of body attack would have been well served in the middle of the fight or early part of the fight.
Would it be wise for Concepcion to go into a little four-corner here? I don't know. Is his lead safe enough?
Right, and he doesn't do that very well. Wow, big uppercut by
here we go.
Santiago.
Yeah, Santiago now is letting it go. He's letting it all go now. And it's really something he should have started perhaps after he was knocked down in the 6th. No.
Concepcion was holding a moment ago.
Well, Mario Santiago took you 10 rounds, but we finally found you.
Absolutely. And those are good. Those are kidney shots. I think a lot of these are not borderline. They're good, clean shots. And then it's like somebody revved this guy's engine and cut him loose. Look at that left hand from Santiago. We can't say it enough. Where was this?
The animal's coming out in him.
Well, this is almost inexcusable. It's such a shame that we didn't see it earlier. But there's a big minute to go in this fight. Concepcion doesn't seem stunned, but he's holding on. Oh, now Concepcion bites down and says, let's go. Let's watch.
And a heck of a round 10.
Look at the body language. Santiago says, bring it on, brother.
The Valium wore off, Santiago. Finally. I don't mean that literally.
What a wake-up call. Santiago may be a little punched out, but he is full of grit and snorting like a bull here with 15 seconds left.
And he's won round 10 and won it convincingly.
Look, and he seems like he's battering Concepcion in his own corner. Almost a 10-8 round, fellas.
That's what I was thinking about.
Oh, he ran out of bed. He ran out of clock. He ran out of clock. Where was this for 9 other rounds?
Now let's remember though that there were some close rounds. And by the middle of this fight, the fight was still fairly close around the 6th round or 7th. So if there's a way that Santiago stole a round between rounds 7 and 9 somewhere,
right,
he might be in this fight.
Well, I did. I gave him the 9th, and you know what? I have this a very close fight. I have it 95-94.
That's a 10-8, huh?
For Concepcion, meaning the knockdown was the difference. But I did score the 10th, 10-9, and you can certainly make an argument, as Nick did, that it was 10-8.
Yeah,
Here's the recap as we see round 4.
This was the portion of the fight where Concepcion was doing exceptionally well, and in the middle round, Santiago mounted a little bit of a rally.
And you could see, there's the knockdown. That might have been the difference. It was a legitimate knockdown, even though there was a little bit of a trip involved. And then late in the fight, Santiago still not punching with much authority. If you watch these replays and you see when Santiago's punching, it doesn't look anything like the fighter we saw in the 10th round, when Santiago really let loose with that left hand and set it all up with very, very effective body work. You see some of it right there.
And that was a legal punch that he complained about, but there was one below that did go down. And then in round 10, the aggression of Santiago was really amazing. Concepcion complaining about body shots. Some were low, but more were legal, I think, as Nick said. And this is going to be an interesting decision.
And you know, the body shots took his legs away, Concepcion's legs away. It's something we can second guess, but they should have urged him to employ a lot sooner, it would seem. So Santiago ran out of clock. In my opinion, the officials totaling the scores will soon throw it upstairs and get the official word. But you know, guys, there's some tension here in this fight.
Well, as Steve pointed out, if you give him round 9, Santiago, and then you would have to give him round 10. Yes. He won several rounds. He won at least 2 rounds early in the fight. So if he won 3, now you're 1 point win for Concepcion as Steve has him. Maybe even, I don't know how you can make this a draw. You can't really.
Unless you score a 10-10.
Or a 10-8 in the last round.
Well, we're going to get the official word now from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember the winner gets the fight. Juanma Lopez for the title. Here at the Las Vegas Hilton, we go to the scorecards. Richard Ocasio scores at 98-91. Jerry Roth, 96-93, and Glenn Trowbridge, 97-92. All to the winner by unanimous decision from the Philippines, Bernabe, the real deal, Concepcion.
Okay, Bernabe Concepcion, unanimous, clear, and easy. 98-91, 96-93, 97-92. Concepcion, they needed him to step up, and he did. He put Santiago on the floor, had a bad 10th round, but Santiago went to work. Far too little, too late as we look at CompuBox stats, man.
Obviously not as close to the scoring as we thought, but the accuracy there for Concepcion, but the numbers for Santiago.
And they really took turns in terms of who the aggressor was this fight. It wasn't just Santiago staying on the outside and jabbing. There were times, long stretches, where he came forward, and apparently the judges were unimpressed with that.
And Concepcion clearly better in the power punching department, although that gap of 128 to 72 was a lot bigger until that 10th round, when Santiago really started throwing a lot of power punches.
And not all power punches, Al, are alike, because I think for 9 rounds, Concepcion's power punches were much harder than Santiago.
Absolutely.
And so he was economical, he was effective, he moves to 32-1. Bernabe Concepcion. But coming up in 5 weeks, you won't want to miss this. Manny Pacquiao will be in the house in Dallas.